Hey everybody, it is the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and right now I have a guest that I have wanted to have on for so long. It is my absolute pleasure to be catching up with Vince Russo. Hi.
Well, Alicia, first of all, let's be honest. I'm an old man. You are the hottest thing going on in the wrestling industry. I have to keep track of who you're working for because it seems like you're working for everybody. I remember, kind of meeting you online a while back when you were looking to break into the business. I
Right.
was late to the rodeo, and then next thing I know, you're working for 10 different companies. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's pretty much just been a crazy hustle this last year. Now I'm with MLW, and I believe this is going to be a really lovely home for me for quite some time. So yeah, it's been busy though.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to keep track because you did some stuff for AEW, right?
Yes, they brought me on originally for All In before AEW was actually established, and then they brought me on for Double or Nothing, their very first ever pay-per-view. So that was a lot of fun for me. I love those guys.
So now you're hooked up with MLW.
Exactly, yeah, and it's been
Yeah.
amazing so far. Had my first tapings. It's been lovely.
Oh,
But
that's awesome. Well, congratulations. Hey, I always say good things happen to good people.
thank you so much. I'm very excited to have you on. I know that you have a busy day, as I mentioned. So let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. First things first. It's no secret that every time I hear you talk, there's no way that the word bro is not going to come into a sentence. It's just
Yeah.
the way it is with you. So has that always been the case? Because I remember watching old promos or like old interviews with you, and bros were coming out everywhere. So was that like since you were a kid? Why?
No, you know what? It really wasn't since I was a kid. It was, really once I got in wrestling. But I don't claim stake to being the king of bro because I will still say to this day, first of all, nobody bros more than DDP. Nobody. So
That's
I,
true.
I, I definitely, tip my hat to him. And another guy that was a big bro influence on me was Chris Canyon. Chris Canyon was another big bro guy. So I don't stake claim to that. I think there are others before me that kind of set the table, especially Paige.
It's one of those things where I feel like I'm going to start adapting it by the end of this interview. We're just gonna be broing out. You know when other people's mannerisms latch onto you?
I swear the funniest thing was I'll never forget it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Dixie Carter called me out for referring to her as bro.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
think about that. I mean, A, she was, my boss, and B, she was a female. But when I
Right.
would talk to Dixie, like the bros would just come out and she would have to say, Vince, you got to stop calling me bro. And I'm like, I'm not doing it on purpose. It
Not
just
on
comes
purpose.
out. Yeah, you know?
Well, I have no issue whatsoever. If it happens to come out once in a while, I'll probably start calling you bro and we'll have a whole thing going,
So if I call you bro, you will be honored. Is that what you're telling me?
100%.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Now, you're known for creating some of the best segments in wrestling history. And I was curious, a lot of people focus on those really wonderful ones. I was wondering if there was any segment you kind of wish you could maybe take back or even delete.
Oh yeah, no, the worst. Well, there were a couple of. I'll tell you the two that really come to mind, and one is a more personal thing. The other one was really bad, and I could say it wasn't my fault, but it kind of was my fault on a personal level. And I have, I've had many conversations with him, and I've apologized a million times over. I wish I could take that whole Oklahoma character back when we were at WCW. People, I don't make excuses for myself. And I've apologized to JR many, many, many times. But Alicia, kind of goes to show you with the wrestling business, at that time, we were in a war. So, I really didn't stop and take the time to think of, man, how is this going to affect JR as a human being? Because it was a war. And I look back now and I'm like, my God, what were you thinking? And JR has been so nice, to forgive me. And, we've talked many, many times since. The one angle, Alicia, and like I said, I could say this wasn't my fault, but I'll take full responsibility. I had written a Kennel from Hell match okay, between Big Boss Man and Al Snow. And the idea was these vicious attack dogs was supposed to be circling ringside, barking, showing the teeth, salivating at the mouth, the whole 9 yards. That was the vision in my head. So, I'll never forget that day when we're going over the match, the dogs start coming in. And when these dogs started coming up to me and like licking my hand, like I knew we had a problem. I knew. Yeah. I said, wait a minute. Like
these are the dogs in my head.
These are not the dogs in my head. We want killer dogs. But I should have. I just took it for granted we were going to have killer dogs. I should have thought about, well, what if they're pets? You know what I mean? So, like, I look it back. I've apologized to Al Snow so many freaking times, but that did not turn out the way I had envisioned.
It's one of those things where when you look back on it, I love how open you are, whether it's an amazing segment or a segment that maybe didn't go so well. You being one of the most controversial people in wrestling, the fact that you own those things and you're so and there's no bullshit.
Well, that's the thing, that's the thing, the dirt sheet writers have created, Paul Bunyan and his blue ox. So you will always hear over and over and over again, he takes credit for everything and nothing was his fault. If you listen to every one of my interviews, I mean, I have no problem saying, man, that was an absolute dud.
Now, one thing I noticed you're starting to do is posting these Twitch songs on your channel.
Yeah.
I never thought you would.
Do you want to join me in a duet? Is that what you're trying? Are you trying to jump on a bandwagon?
I would love to.
Listen, I got to be honest with you, Alicia. And again, I'm always honest. And again, this is, Vince is bitter and he's this. No, I'm not bitter. I hate watching Monday Night Raw. It sucks, okay? If it were not my job, I would not be watching it. It's that simple. But I get paid to watch it. That's what I do with my podcasting, russosbrand.com. So I was like, man, while I'm watching Raw and I'm live on Twitch, I've got to do something to entertain myself. I'm not going to sit here and watch this shit. So I've got a computer guy that's always playing around with Twitch, and he found this karaoke. And so now every Monday night I do Raw karaoke where, Raw is on in the background. The people on Twitch just tell me what song, and I do the whole. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you saw this or not. I mean, I work into a sweat. I don't phone it in. I mean, I give it my absolute all. So you guys should check that out if you want. It's a lot of fun. It's Monday nights when Raw is on, and it's at twitch.tv/Vince Russo Live. And I'd love to have you do a duet with me.
Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely down. We'll have to talk about that afterwards and schedule it out.
Yeah, that Aladdin. So maybe that Aladdin song would be a good one. Isn't there a guy and a girl? Well, yeah, that might be a good one.
A whole new world, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. What is that accent I'm hearing from you?
I'm Canadian.
I love the Canadian accent. You know whose Canadian accent I used to love? I don't know. I'm sure you've met her because you've worked everywhere. Angelina Love. You know Angelina?
Yeah, of course.
She had the best. She used to pop me huge with her Canadian accent. I loved it, loved it, loved it.
It's whenever we say about or against, everyone always points it out.
The about is the one that always. I love that. I love it.
Well, something that's very neat I realized and discovered about you is not only are you massive, of course, a lover of wrestling, but also music. And I know we mentioned the Twitch songs there and the karaoke, but you also have a fairly big vinyl collection. So how long have you been collecting for, and what is kind of that prized possession in your collection?
Well, wow, that's great question. I've got now, I'd say about 2,500 albums. About 25. Yeah. And I mean, I know that because I log everyone on Discogs. I know everything I have. I know my collection. I am a big, Alicia, I'm a big thrift store guy. You can ask my wife. I literally hit at least 10 thrift stores a week. So,
oh my God.
No. So I'm always hunting for the treasures. So when it comes to my albums, I mean, you name it. I have no problem whatsoever saying I own every single Partridge Family album. I own every one. I'd say my two prized possessions, and one you're not going to have a clue to what I'm talking about, but I'm going to give you some homework, and I'm going to tell you to look this guy up, okay? Number one, I am a huge Howard Stern mark. He has had a huge influence on my career, huge influence on my life. And before he was anybody, he actually released a comedy album. And I own that. I was able to get my hands on that one. And also, now that you're around the wrestling business, you know, I'm a huge mark for characters. If you are a character, you've got me. Okay. Many years ago, you know, Alicia, when you were a sparkle in your parents' eye. Okay. And I remember it. 1968, I was 7 years old. Okay. And I put on this show, which you've never heard of, called Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Okay. And they had, you got to look this up because I promise you, you're going to pop when you watch this guy. This guy appeared on Rowan and Martin's Laugh in 1968 by the name of Tiny Tim. I own every Tiny Tim album out there that you can find, and a lot of them are really hard to get. I want you to look up Tiny Tim, and then I want you to DM me, and I want you to tell me what you think because I think you'll become a huge fan.
Tiny Tim really rings a bell. I don't know if that's because maybe my parents have a very eclectic taste in music. So I grew up listening to like new wave, Philly soul, like everything. So I don't know, maybe I might actually be familiar. I'll let you know.
Does Tiptoe Through the Tulips ring a bell?
No, that doesn't.
Okay, you check out Tiny Tim and you will be thanking me. I promise.
Okay.
Yes.
I look forward to sending you a thank.
Awesome.
Now, if you could have any artist or band create some music for you to come down the ramp to into the ring, which artist would that have been?
I would say without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I love so many people, man, and I range, like I said, from A to Z. I mean, I have no shame in saying I'm a Liza Minnelli mark. I have no problem with that. But I have to say, Alicia, man, probably Steve Perry of Journey. You know, I mean, oh my God, nobody sings like Steve Perry. I'm a huge fan of Steve Perry. He recently made a comeback about 2 years ago. I would say without a doubt, Steve Perry.
Have you seen them live? Because I know that they've been touring. They're back at it.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing, Alicia. Like, I saw the original Journey with Steve Perry. I'm the kind of guy, I will not go see fake Journey. I mean, that is an insult to me. I will not. When Steve Perry left the band, like, I'm done. So I'm very, very loyal when it comes to that.
Well, I just want to say I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to be on here. I know that you have a few more things lined up, so I will let you go, but it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Just thank you.
All right, can I plug one thing? Okay? The month of December, I do this every year. It's kind of like my Christmas gift to you. If you are not a member of my brand, I give you an entire free month. No strings attached, no gimmicks, no long-term commitments. It's free. So all you have to do, but you got to do by the end of December, is go to russosbrand.com. Take advantage of your free month. You can opt out when it's over, no problem. But I kind of do it every December, so I'd love to throw that offer out there. And listen, I'm going to wait on a Tiny Tim response.
You'll hear from me soon. I'll make sure it's by end of day. I'm excited to look into this.
Okay,
I'm always on the hunt.
Figure out some way to sign off by using About.
Ooh. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. You just heard all about Vince Russo here on my show. Thank you so much to Vince for hanging out today. This has been The Interview Queen, and I'll see you next time on Catching Up With.
Awesome.